it's a lot better. First home win of the season, and Rovers are up and running at Ewood Park, smashing Southampton, and we've got a full team of Rovers fans to digest all that happened. Hope you are well. If you've just found the channel, do drop us a quick subscribe and a quick like. It's 20 minutes of Blackburn Rovers chat every single week. My name's Mark, I'm a neutral, and here we go with 4 delighted Rovers fans. Mark, that's been a long time coming, hasn't it?
Yeah, I pretty much forgot what it was like to win at Ewood, to be honest. I think the thing I took away, it was just utter relief. It was pure relief. A goal didn't look like it was coming until obviously we got the equaliser. I didn't think we were going to get back into the game despite playing a poor Southampton team. But the subs this time did help, and it did work, and it just gave us a bit of extra life. But it was just massive relief because, you know, if we hadn't won that on Saturday, again we start to become a little bit adrift. And it starts to look really, really, really bad. So, yeah, it was pure relief. Hopefully, we can look to build on that now. But obviously, I'm never the most optimistic, so I'm not getting too carried away because I still think there's a lot of work to be done. But yeah, utter relief. So, a very, very grateful 3 points.
Coming up this week, then, we're going to talk about some of the standout players. We've got lots of cries from Rovers fans saying Kristi Montgomery must start in midfield the next game. We'll get the panel's opinion on that. Where do we stand on Valor and Ishmael now? Tom and Harry were missing last week, so we'll get their opinions on is he in or is he out? And we're also talking about our October Player of the Month award as well. Plus, we're also carrying on with our A to Z of Blackburn Rovers. We're up to letter D this week, and AI has suggested there's only one player that should go in at this spot, and that is the legend, of course, that is Damien Duff. We'll see if the panel can come up with anything better. Right, Harry, you're one of these then, I think, that's been crying out on social media. Just how good was Kristi Montgomery?
Yeah, he was really good. He comes on with so much energy, so much drive, so much passion. One of these players that sort of plays for the badge, you know what I mean? And he came on every time he's come on, even in games that we haven't won. He sort of lifts the energy. He drives that midfield, and yeah, he's more than worthy of his place to get a shot. He started a bit last season at right back where he was solid, but that's not where he wants to play. That's not where we get the most out of him. Starting in that midfield, I think we could see a real difference. Like we've missed. That's one of been Rovers' weaker points this season. We've missed that sort of midfield pairing, someone to go along Tronstad. And I know Gardner-Hickman's been solid at times, but he's no Lewis Travis, he's no Adam Wharton, and Kristi Montgomery's neither of them yet, but he definitely could be. And for someone like Rovers, the position we are as a club, we need to invest in our youth and give these people a chance to flourish and give them the game time, because I've been really impressed with what I've seen from him so far. And I think he changed the game for us. It was nice to see Rovers show a little bit of fight against Southampton, because how many times this season have we gone into a game, started really well, gone a couple of goals behind and gone out with a bit of a whimper? But we showed some real fight today, and I think that really all started when he came on. I think he was a real driving force. He wanted the ball, and he'd pick up the ball and he'd drive with it and he'd get us up the pitch. And I think he's more than warrant of starting. I think he's really proved his worth, and I think he could make a real impact for us if we are going to start to progress up that table this season.
Yeah, well said. Tom Mike says, nice watching another team fold in the second half. Please let this be the turning point for us. As fans, we deserve something to celebrate. What a relief. Is it fair to say if your old pal Armstrong had his shooting boots on that the result might have been different?
Yeah, I mean, Toff deserves massive plaudits for keeping us in the game at 1-0, because Armstrong, when he was 2 on goal, and Toff kind of came out and closed the gap down and made a terrific save. On another day that would have gone in, I think it would have been game over at 2-0. It was just nice to kind of see Rovers have a go in the second half and play with no fear, because the first half was not great from Rovers at all, and we made a very ordinary Southampton side look good. And there was sloppy mistakes, and it's kind of been a common theme, really. I mean, in previous games have actually started off quite well and made the top teams look quite ordinary themselves. But obviously Ishmael said something at half time and he put a rock up their backsides and they came out and it was like a different team really. They played with no fear. They were passing a lot better. Marishta missed an absolute sitter, so he should have scored really there. It was almost like, the brakes were off, and Ishmael was just saying, you've got to have a go. We needed to win that game. Like Mark touched upon at the start, had we lost, a gap would have formed, and we could have been almost cut adrift at this early stage. So we've said before, Rovers haven't been shy of creating chances in games. We've just needed someone to finish them. I think I read somewhere this morning that we created the most chances, I think, out of any team in the division this weekend, with I think something like 6 or 7 shots on target, which is great to do. So Andre Johnson, the jury's still out with him. It was great to see him score a goal, but there are lots of positives to take away from the weekend.
Interestingly, Ipswich fans aren't very happy with Schmodix at the moment, to the point where he might be available in January. You never know. Right, Jason. Good Johnson then was a topic we were discussing on here last week. I don't think you had a kind word to say about him so far. Have you got kinder words this week?
Yeah, I thought it was a better performance. I thought he didn't get much in the first half. I thought second half we just looked a bit more potent in creating chances, and I had a sneaky feeling because I was slagging him off in the WhatsApp group during that game. Oh, was I? And I cried that goal in for him. I really did. So I might do it every week for him. But he needed that. And hopefully that is what he needed. And that's what we needed, is him to score, because we need a striker who's going to put the ball in the net. And my biggest thing is the crosses that were coming in the box in the first half, and there's nobody playing on that shoulder to look to peel off to the back post. And there was 3 crosses, I think, that went towards the back post. Good crosses. And with his presence in his heart, he's got to be that man who's got to read them crosses a bit more. But yeah, I think he'll do him a world of good. I thought he was a bit better second half of what we've seen. It's there. You can see it's there with him. And I don't think the team's helped. I don't think we played to his strength, and it's what we need to start doing. I think he's a big striker. Get it into him. Let him lay it off and then, make a run off. We need to start using him a bit more, not hope he just pops up with a goal. But there were 3 players around there when they scored. It could have been any of the 3 who popped it back at net. So there was nothing instinct about it. But there is something there. It was better for me. But he's still got a lot to do to be the striker we need, I think.
Mark, who else stood out that we've not mentioned so far?
Obviously the goalkeeper. I know Tom obviously mentioned about the saves he made with Armstrong. I think obviously he's been like that in a few games for us, so I think he's made a real difference. I thought Gardner Hickman had an all right game, probably one of the best games I've seen him for us yet. So there was a really good couple of positives, but I think Harry said, I think the fight in which they all showed, especially when they got the equaliser to go on and win that game, because you could tell it was a team really, really short on confidence in the first half. And obviously fans were starting to get on, not necessarily on the players' backs, but just in general, there's a few booing, jeering and stuff in at half time. So they showed real character. Obviously, they just need to build on confidence. Really, really need to build on it now.
Oh, okay. Last week we had a good chat about Ishmael. His interview seemed a little bit more spiky this week. I don't know if he's feeling the pressure or not. This one from TK says, "Well done, Val. Drown out the clueless ones. Performance have been very good this season with a brand new team. We deserve to be a lot higher than what we are. Please keep the faith." This to Tom and Harry, because we didn't get a chance to ask you last week. Where are both of you on the manager?
I think after Sheffield United, I was very much, he's got to go. I couldn't see a way back. But, I watched an interview with Scott Wharton earlier, and he was reiterating what we've already said about it's very much a new look side, and these players have got a gel. And it's almost like a new look team for Ishmael as well. He came in at the end of last season, and predominantly all the players that he had to work with, that we got that running at the end, about 4 or 5 wins in a row we won, they've all pretty much gone. So in any work of life, in any job you do, if you've got a whole new staff, it's going to be a transitional period. The recruitment was a gamble, I think, in the players that we've signed. Some of the players do look like they could make the grade. The jury's still out on some of them, but it's a tough one because really, who's out there that can replace him? And is it going to be doing more damage to get rid of him now when the players are kind of buying into what he's trying to do? I think you've got to give him a bit more time, perhaps till Christmas, but then we're all fickle football fans, and if we lose the next couple of games, then I'll be saying get him out.
Harry, have you called for his head yet when you've been chatting to mates on WhatsApp groups?
I haven't. I was just looking at the lineup from the game at the weekend, and there's 7 new players in that lineup. And then there's Scott Wharton, who was injured for the whole of last season, and then Balash Toth, who was number 2 for the pretty much whole of last season as well. So you're looking at, like what Tom was just saying, it's a completely new team. And players that have come in from all over the place, really. There's not a lot of championship experience embedded in there, because that's what we're forced to do in the financial state that Rovers are in. We can't pay for experienced championship quality. We've got to go and take these risks, try and find a sort of hidden gem, trying to find a bargain. So he has got a massive job trying to gel these players all together. And that's going to take time, and players acclimatise to leagues quicker than others. I've never been massively inspired by him, but he's got a really difficult job on his hands, and you've got to give him a bit of time. The thing that worries me sometimes is the style of play when it's not hot, it's really cold. We look so slow in transition sometimes, trying to get forward, trying to get players up the pitch. Going back to players that we've had in the past, people like Dolan, people like Rothwell, we used to have drivers to get our team up the pitch. We're so slow in transition now. And that quality in the final ball, when Todd Cantwell's not on the pitch, there's a real lack of final quality in that end ball at the minute. And I know the players have got to take a lot of responsibility in that, but I think there's something the manager's got to assess as well. And it's sometimes it's about not identifying things in changes. Like Coventry, we conceded 2 goals, almost identical goals. When the first one comes out, you've got to think you need to start picking up your second ball. That needs to be drilled into you. That's about game management from that point, but we didn't do that, and we conceded another goal from the exact same thing. Sometimes the substitutions have been a bit negative. They've cost us in games. I'm trying to think back to Birmingham now. So I do worry about his game management and sometimes his tactics, but you've got to think how much of that is down to the players as well, and still trying to get used to the league that they're playing in. We've got players like Sidney Tavares, who isn't acclimatised at all yet. People like Musa Baraji, who haven't even come into the squad yet. People are still going to take time to acclimatise this league. And I've always said that you can't really judge anything till Christmas, I don't think, in this league. Things can change so quickly. So whilst I'm not massively confident in him, and I'm not overly inspired, I've got to say you've got to give him time, because he's got a difficult job on his hands, and he's got to be able to give him the chance to prove his own worth.
Cheers, Harry. Just while we've got you in the chair, it's Leicester up next. Happy memories of the King Power. Last time you were there, you were exiting a little bit tipsy, having celebrated Rovers staying up on the last day of the season, if I remember rightly. Yeah,
I've not had, as someone who started supporting Blackburn around 2010, I've not had many sort of high points, but that was absolutely one of them. I thought we were down and out, and you're looking around the grounds, typical last game of the season, you're paying more attention to how everyone else is getting on than your own results, really. And when you see that everyone else is winning, you think, oh, we're doomed here. This is so Rovers to go down here, despite it looking pretty impossible at the start of the day. And then that man, Sammy Smodic, saved us all season, did it again on that last day. That was one of the greatest days that I've had following Rovers, really.
Yeah, that second goal went in when he was celebrating it, wasn't he, before he even hit the back of the net, I think. Brill. Right. Jason, you've given Ipswich a good run when you played them. You've beaten Southampton, so now this is the third and final Premier League team to be relegated. Is it fair to say that you play better against the sides where you're where the quality that you're playing against is better? The players seem to get up for it.
Definitely, the side, it's the teams we should lose against. That's when we seem to play better. The games we should be winning, We just seem to collapse, and I think there's a big pressure when you're playing teams who are in and around you at the time. I think that's the problem. I think we seem to do well going into a game with nothing expected of us. That little bit of pressure that lifts off us to that game seems to make us relax and play, and it's always been the case. No matter who's the manager, who the players, or who's the squad, I think it's the same for any team. But yeah, I think it's a big week. It'd be a huge result to even get a draw. I think we just need to try and get some kind of a run going. I think, and it's a tough game. We don't have Smodics to go and do what he did last time, so I think we're going to have to try and grind a draw out or nick a close game. I think, but yeah, we definitely play better. I'm not completely hopeless against Leicester. I think we will. We've got a decent chance of getting a result, especially coming in off the back of a big win like that, I think. And we've been all right away from home, really, haven't we, to be fair. So, yeah. I think the lack of pressure, decent away form, I think we might get a result.
Yeah, and another set of fans that are restless, not happy at all. Before we move on, please, if you have come across the channel before, we really love making the content for you. Press the like button, press the subscribe button at the bottom. We'd love to grow this to about 150 subscribers. That'd be amazing. Right, it's going to be October then, Tom, by the time we play Leicester. November, sorry. What am I talking about? It's been October. So we're asking for your player of the month, please, for October.
For me, it's a no-brainer. It has to be Balázs Toth. I think I know we've been struggling in the last few games, but he has been the standout performer in the team. And as I said before, I liked Ainsley Pears. I was an advocate of him, but he's well and truly cemented himself as number one. Some of the saves he puts in have kept Rovers in games, albeit we've lost some of these games, but he has made the scoreline respectable. He is composed. He's a leader at the back. He's an international player who's, he's playing against Ronaldo for Portugal and he stepped up in those games. He's consistent. You can see him leading from the back through his communication skills. I think at one point I thought he might be an unsung hero, but I think everyone's starting to notice now what a good goalkeeper he is. And through watching the games Rovers have played this season, there's not many goalkeepers I would say are better in the division. Maybe the Stoke goalkeeper that's on par, that's better than him. I think he's really stepped up, and we're very lucky to have him as one of our own players. So I think there's not many players that I think really have warranted player of the month quite as much as him.
Strong case put forward there, Mark.
I think Tom nailed it. I think he's pretty much summed it all up. I think for me, yeah, he has been a really, really good bit of business and has been some good recruitment. And I think I know he took time to settle when we first joined, and obviously he initially came as the number two. I can't help but think if he'd have been our number one last year, because I said I've never been a fan of Pears, and I think Pears always I think he dropped us points throughout the season. I can't help but think with him we would have possibly got in the playoffs. But yeah, I think Tom said it all about him. I think I've been hugely impressed with him.
Okay. We'll keep this simple then. Harry, Jason, same nods from you around the same player? Yep.
Can't be anyone else for me.
Okay.
I think Toth's a really good shout, and annoyingly didn't come to mind for me when Tom mentioned unsung heroes. The name that I was thinking of was Sean McLaughlin, because I think he's actually been really solid over the last month. I think a lot of pressure came upon him. We lost Hyam, we lost Danny Bath. He sort of became our most recognised. Obviously, Wharton had been out for such a lengthy injury. Carter's out injured. He became our sort of main centre half, really, and that's a bit of a burden to weigh when you've just come into a team. But I think he's been really solid, really consistent in every game. I like how he pushes up the pitch as well and gets involved. Against Sheffield United, he put in a really good cross as well. Should have really had someone on the end of it. But again, defensively, he's been really solid as well. I think he's proven his worth. I think he's been a really good player for us this month.
Yeah, good shout.
Great shouts. Perfect. Right, stay with us then, because we're getting to A to Z of Rovers. Before that, though, it's Halloween on Friday, and that always leads us to ask the question about your horror stories watching Rovers. So in the comments, please, help these guys out with it. What's the worst ever game you have to have sat in the stadium for this question, but what's the one game where you've just looked around at other fans and said, yeah, how long's left? We just need to get out of here quickly. I know there's been a few before you all start saying how long have you got. But Jason, what's the one that sticks in your mind as being the worst ever experience watching Rovers?
I can't remember who it was against, but I'm sure Mark was out. Ewood Park, weren't we 3-0 down after 2-3-0 down after about 9 minutes? Was it last season that? Do you remember? It was a game we had to win as well, and we were about 2-0 down after 4 or 5 minutes, I think.
Yeah,
I can't think who it was again. It was a poor side as well. It weren't a good side we were playing. But I was ready for walking out stadium after 5 minutes. I'd had enough.
I'm like that almost every week.
Tom?
Is it games have actually been too live, you're saying, yeah?
Yeah, where have you been sat in the stadium and just it's been a complete nightmare?
See, regarding, I wouldn't say it was a nightmare in the sense of what happened. I was at Brentford away on the last game of the season, the year we went down into League One. And it was a mixture of emotions because we obviously won the game, but it was awful because it was the height of the top. It was toxic. The Venkies were getting hammered. The players weren't at it. And I actually was on Sky Sports News that day. I was interviewed before the game regarding my feelings because I think we had a chance. It didn't work out for us that year, but that day was one I can remember when I think was it 2017. I think it was. I went down. And it was a bit of a weird feeling to win the game and then come away actually getting relegated at the same time. So probably that game sticks out for me as being not a very nice experience.
Harry?
I can only assume this hasn't been mentioned because everyone's blanked it from their memory completely. But when those lot up the road won the league at Ewood a couple of seasons back, that's
a great joke.
That's what I was going to go with, Harry, to be honest. Yeah, I was going to go with any of the Burnley games, to be honest, in recent memory.
It doesn't get worse than that, does it?
No.
Yeah, and you can't, and you don't hear the end of it. And in fairness, I don't blame them because if it was us in their position, we'd be doing the exact same thing. And there's nothing you can say to come back.
Like with the Burnley shift on and all that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Thanks for reminding me, Harry. I have blocked that.
There we go. There's a winner then. Brilliant. Right. Fantastic. Thank you very much. Albeit finally then, our A to Z continues. Then we're up to the letter D. So far we've put in A, B, C. So we're looking for a single player, or of course it could be a stand. Hint. You might want to put in for this one. Got Damien Duff is what AI has suggested. Any better, please, from the floor? That you open conversation here.
Well,
I had Duff. That's who I had.
Yeah, I was going to. I'm going to go. I know we've been doing players. I know predominantly so far. But I'm going to go off a little bit here and say, only because I'm hoping that some of my Preston friends will be watching, I'm going to say Deepdale, simply because we won promotion there in 2001. So just to remind my friends who do follow Preston, I'm going to say Deepdale.
Okay. I'll tell them that when I see them.
Yes, please let them know.
In the next one.
You do, but don't pick that one. We can't have Deepdale in a Blackburn Rovers.
But it's iconic. We won promotion there, didn't we? So for me,
just don't ask Mark when we get to tea, because if he says that, then that's it.
Okay. Harry,
David Dunn, Mr. Blackburn Rovers.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, that's a shout. Tom, any more?
I'm going to go with Brian Douglas. I called my granddad earlier. I like to go over a throwback, and he said he's always raved on about him being his favourite ever player. And I just asked him for a few words about what he was like, because obviously he's got the Darwin name named after him. And he just said he was unbelievable. He said, I didn't realise how small he was. He was 5'5", but he said he was inside forward, and he was the sort of player in the mould like Stanley Matthews, where fans would go to Blackburn to watch Brian Douglas play. A one club man, 438 appearances for Rovers, 102 goals. is there his entire career. He grew up, he was born 400 metres away from the Darwen end. I think there's not many players that, get a standing after them. So I think for all he did for Rovers, being a one-club man, all those goals, all his appearances in a really tough era to play in as well. Played for England 36 times, 11 goals. I think he thoroughly deserves his spot in this A to Z.
Tom, I wish you'd have spoke first because it saved us all. The rest of it was a lot of bother. Right, I think that one wins, doesn't it? Yeah, I'd dial it in because I've got this. Brilliant. Okay.
Yeah.
Right, super job. Right, enjoy your trips to Leicester. Then we'll see you in 7 days' time to review it all. An easy one next week. So we go on to the letter E. It's not going to take very long to discuss what goes in for that. See you then.
Cheers, guys.